to get outside and do what you love. Don't let this one get away. The Box of Bait Club is currently accepting a limited number of pre-orders with subscriptions starting at $39.95 per month. Find out more now. Log on to boxofbaitclub.com.
I'm just so happy my father had a chance to see his kids before he passed. I just want to say thank you.
When her father fell ill, the American Red Cross was able to help get Veronica's brother home from the Navy to speak to his father one last time. It's thanks to your donations that we can connect military families when they need it most. Please donate today at redcross.org.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. Then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-616-8010. That's 1-800-616-8010. Again, 1-800-616-8010. Call now.
Attention business owners. We know that owning a business means getting things done right now. So if your right now list includes a new building, call the Right Now Company. General Steel. We can design a building for your business quickly and save you thousands of dollars. That's right, thousands. You may think General Steel only builds large projects or that you can't afford General Steel quality. Well, check these prices. How about a 40 by 60 foot building for under $22,000 or even a 50 by 100 for under $35,000? That's right, a 5,000 square foot building for under $35,000. And these buildings all have General Steel quality. Best of all, you can still order a building and have it delivered in time to build this year. How's that for right now? So if your right now list includes a new building, call the Right Now Company, General Steel.
800-393-5756. 800-393-5756. 800-393-5756. That's 800-393-5756.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
Boy, man, I had a rough night's sleep. Boy, I got a letter from the IRS yesterday, and I just couldn't sleep. Man, I'm dying here. Somebody help me.
IRS problems affect more than just your finances. If you're ready to take back control of your life and you owe more than $10,000, you need to call the Tax Doctor. Their expert staff can immediately protect you from the IRS and state collectors and get you the best possible tax settlement guaranteed. The IRS has recently released new programs geared in helping struggling taxpayers, where you may qualify to settle your tax debt and wipe out up to 85% or more of what you currently owe. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes, call the Tax Doctor right now. See if you qualify to pay less. 800-989-1694. 800-989-1694. 800-989-1694. Again, 800-989-1694.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. We leave no warrior behind. Wounded Warrior Project is a non-profit organization created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war. Whether those scars are physical or mental, we're here to make sure that they heal. And whether it's helping those with post-traumatic stress disorder live a normal life again, or giving much-needed support to injured warriors in veterans' hospitals. Because no one deserves our help more than the men and women who risk their lives to keep us safe. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge. To you, my wonderful ecclesiastites, and all of you wonderful liberty lovers all across the globe. Yes, it is I, your lovable host, Rod, coming to you live from my bunkerized studio somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire, where the state motto is, after Super Tuesday, it's still live free or die. It is not big government or bust. The call-in number this morning, as it is every morning, is 603-835-3224. Again, that's 603-835-3224. And speaking of Super Tuesday, it was super for a couple of, as people would say like this, if you are a nerd. It was a very super Tuesday for two particular candidates. One probably more so than the other. Hillary and the Donald each won 7 states, more than half of the states available yesterday, picking up huge swaths or chunks of delegates. Now, I got to tell you, people are... There's something that the Republican bigwigs are missing, and now the Trump haters are coming out of the woodwork. And me being the way I am, and I know this might be, I consider it not necessarily always a strength. Some people might consider it a weakness, but I have this ability to not be pressured into going along with the crowd. As a matter of fact, I can often be pressured to go along with the crowd, but it has the opposite effect. And I recall back in high school, my best friend in high school at the time, his name was Danny. He used to hate that about me and consider it a challenge. So even if it was like doing something like playing a game of football, and I wasn't in the mood to do it. Now you have to understand, I love football, and I love playing it. But there were times or days I just wasn't in the mood to play it. Now, he would spend an hour sometimes trying to convince me to play, when he could have already been out there enjoying himself and playing. But he looked at it as a challenge. And 90% of the time, he would give up in defeat because I would go the opposite way. But trust me, he considered those 10% times switching my desire to play as a victory, and he would take those. Now, literally, I would do. When there was a fad, the Jordache jean, designer jean fad kicked in the late 70s and early 80s, and we went through all these different brands of designer jean fads. My mother asked if she should buy me some of those designer jeans. I looked at my mother and said, "No, absolutely not." And this is what I said: those are for sissy boys. And I never owned a pair of designer jeans. Everybody was getting them. I went the opposite direction. And as it turns out, there are no embarrassing pictures of me from the 70s, 80s, or 90s wearing some stupid fad sissy jeans by these designers like Jordan. Whatever happened to Jordache anyway? I don't know. But I never wore them. Never owned them. And that kept me out of a lot of trouble, by the way. Not giving in to so-called peer pressure. And I listen to people talk about, well, peer pressure is so bad and people can't resist it. I'm like, are you kidding me? I did it every day. And I didn't think I was particularly special or particularly strong. I just had the personality that said, no, I'm going to do what I want. And nobody's going to convince me otherwise. And I didn't get into trouble. I had some friends and some classmates. Some classmates got into big trouble because they went along with so-called teen pressure. They couldn't stand up for themselves. I just basically went the other way. Well, here we have the Republican Party the elite trying to pressure the American voter into voting the way the elite wants them to vote. Now, you have to understand something. What you're going to see over this next month is you are going to see the Republican elitist lose their freaking minds. They have thrown everything, including the kitchen sink, at Donald J. Trump. And the man is steamrolling across this country. 7 wins. I know that they're trying to play it off. Well, he didn't win all of them. By the way, congratulations to Senator Rubio finally winning a state. Looks like Minnesota is going to Rubio. Bravo. But you're going to hear all the spin. And I was hearing it last night. And I'm hearing it this morning. All the spin about, Cruz. People are uniting, people are uniting behind me now. And we're moving forward. Really, you got your expected home state win. What else did you get? Well, you got Oklahoma, and you got the Alaska caucus. Okay, I am a little bit surprised about Alaska simply because Sarah Palin still pulls a lot of weight in Alaska, and she went for Trump this time around. But you have to understand, Sarah Palin also helped get Cruz elected in the first place. And the Alaskan people remember what Palin said about Cruz when he was running for the Senate. So maybe it isn't such a big surprise after all. They've had more time to get to know Cruz than they have Trump. They're out there, just trying to depict this as a huge win for themselves. Rubio, yes, I'm gaining more support. No, Senator, not really. You're gaining some of the natural leftovers from candidates who've dropped out. That's only natural that every one of the candidates are going to gain some of those followers of other candidates. That's just historically accurate. There is no evidence that you are picking up steam, however, and gaining momentum on Donald Trump. But this is the problem that they have. You've got both Cruz and you got Kasich, who isn't getting out, and you've got Carson, who isn't getting out, and you've got Cruz, who's out there saying that everybody else should get out and support him and rally behind him in order to stop Trump. And Rubio is saying, well, everybody else should just get out and support him in order to stop Trump. The deal is even if this is one thing that they're missing here. Even if all the candidates did get out and support, Rubio or Cruz, what they're failing to understand is, first of all of those voters are not going to go to one of them. A good number of them are going to go over to Trump. The other issue is that Trump is pulling in states that you would not expect. He's pulling from the center and from the left. In Massachusetts alone was a huge win for Donald Trump. I mean, you were talking about, we hear from the state of Massachusetts, we're hearing that as many as 20,000 Democrats have dropped their registered Democrat status and registered as Republicans or independents in order to cast a vote for Donald Trump. And this is not a Rush Limbaugh style, what it was, Operation Chaos. Because we see this kind of stuff going across the country. And this is what the mainstream Republican elite are not getting. You got Paul Ryan out there who is just totally ticked off at Donald Trump now. I mean, you want to talk about it when you look at it. Look at in his eyes. When Paul Ryan is up there talking to the press about Donald Trump, he is seething inside over Donald Trump. I told you before there was something wrong with Paul Ryan when he was elevated to Speaker of the House. I told you there was something wrong with him. He was not the same Ryan that was first elected to the House. Now, you may say, well, he's been possessed, Rod, or he's got a spell put on him, or maybe he's just become drunk with power, but he is not the same Paul Ryan. And frankly, I'm disgusted by the Speaker of the House about what he says about a member of his own party. It has nothing to do with whether or not I or you support Donald Trump. You can go ahead and say that Donald Trump is not a true conservative, but you know what? I got to tell you, Mr. Ryan, neither are you or Mr. McConnell. That's kind of like calling the kettle black, or the pot calling the kettle black, isn't it? Quite frankly, it is. You don't have to be a Donald Trump supporter to see this. And what I do not understand is how cruel, stupid, and inane some of you Cruz supporters are. You weren't this bad and this vocal against Barack Hussein Obama. And I'm trying to figure out for the life of me where all this vitriol is coming from towards Donald Trump. Everybody says that they're tired of the insiders, they're tired of the Beltway, they're tired of the lifelong, professional politicians. You finally get somebody who gains traction, who is not a lifelong professional politician, who's not inside the Beltway. In fact, he pisses off the inside the Beltway types, and you want to tell me that you can't stand Donald Trump for whatever reason. And then you're going to go fall on the sword and talk about the same damn thing, the same talking points that some of these liberal media biased idiots out there are talking about. Oh, he won't disavow the KKK. How many times must the man disavow the KKK and David Duke? Last night, I'm sitting there watching Rubio talk about he won't deny or disavow the KKK, and therefore he shouldn't be president, I wanted to throw a brick at my TV. You've got to be kidding me. Donald Trump has disavowed the KKK and racists like David Duke since the 1980s. And he doesn't do it immediately in one interview, and all of a sudden, oh, Donald Trump doesn't disavow David Duke. How many times has he got to do it? Why weren't you this adamant on Barack Obama when he didn't disavow any of his friends? And David Duke is not a friend of Donald Trump. Bill Ayers, anyone? Reverend Wright? None of you who are complaining that Donald Trump is not disavowing David Duke enough have ever challenged Barack Obama about disavowing a known terrorist. And we have the leadership of the Republican Party acting like a bunch of children because they're not getting their way and convincing you and telling you and forcing you to vote for somebody they want you to vote for. And if you think that they're going to go for Ted Cruz, you idiotic Cruz people, you got another thing coming. They don't like Ted either. Right now, who they want is somebody they think they can control. And that somebody is not Kasich, it is not Carson, but it is Marco Rubio, the senator from Florida. Understand it. Marco Rubio is now your inside the Beltway candidate because he's spewing the same freaking stuff that they're spewing. Listen to him. I am so disappointed in Marco Rubio, it is beyond belief. It is as if the man just sold his soul to the devil. He wants to be president so bad right now. He's acting like an impatient little child. And what do we have from the rest of the Republicans? Oh, they just want to go out there and start talking all kinds of trash about Donald Trump. Well, why don't you give us a better candidate? You don't like Donald so much, give us a better candidate. They refuse to give us better candidates. They trounce out these old losing candidates like Mitt Romney. You know, Mitt, you're a nice guy. You were a halfway decent governor for the state of Massachusetts. You know, you were a good governor for the state of Massachusetts. It was the state of Massachusetts. We couldn't expect to have a totally and completely thoroughly conservative running the state of Massachusetts. You never would have been elected. So for Massachusetts, as far as a conservative style governor goes, you were good for the state of Massachusetts, except for the Romney Care thing. I will never forgive you for that. But otherwise, you know, you were a decent guy. You're a nice guy. Okay, you know, some women in New England, they like looking at you in your younger days. You know, you're a good-looking guy. You're very wealthy. You know, you had lots of charm. You know, very faithful to your wife, all that kind, you know, good family man, you know, Mormon, all that kind of stuff. You're a nice guy, Mitt. You really are. I don't know you personally, but if I did, I think I would like you. I think I would really like you. Now, since Mormons don't drink, I know that we couldn't go out for a beer. Maybe we could go out for one of those, what do they call them, near beers? You know, non-alcoholic. You ever have that garbage, by the way? What is it? O'Doul's, I think, is one of the brands. Isn't O'Doul's yeah, O'Doul's is a brand of non-alcoholic beer. I don't like it. There are some people that do. They think O'Doul's and a couple of the other non-alcoholic brands of beer are good. So yeah, well, maybe Mitt and I could have an O'Doul's. I think Sam Adams experimented once with a non-alcoholic beer. I don't think that worked out too well for them. But Mitt, you're an idiot. You lost. You not only did you lose, you lost a contest that was handed to you on a silver platter. So it wasn't that Barack Obama defeated you. You lost. And you people out there want to now trump up and bring up Mitt Romney as a potential replacement? You want to bring him out of retirement so he can attack Donald Trump? And using the same stupid, tired tactics that were used against him? I mean, you know it's pretty bad when the guy who invented, check out, you got to check out Mitt Romney's taxes, who invented that lie, that strategy. It's the funniest thing when the man who invented that, Harry Reid, calls out Mitt Romney for using it on Donald Trump. It's hilarious. But I'm telling you, you can look at the left, and they're telling you exactly who they're afraid of. Right? They're most afraid of Donald Trump. Hillary Clinton and the Democratic Party are most afraid of Donald Trump. The second person they're most afraid of is Ted Cruz. Now, isn't it interesting they're not afraid of Marco Rubio? Do you hear the left really talking about Marco Rubio? No. They're not afraid of Marco Rubio. They're afraid of Ted Cruz and Donald Trump. They're so afraid that Robert Reich, as Limbaugh puts it, has a YouTube video that explains why Donald Trump and Ted Cruz are so bad. In fact, one of the reasons for disliking Ted Cruz so much is the fact that Ted Cruz is an originalist when it comes to the Constitution. Robert Reich actually says it. That's one of the reasons not to like him, because he believes that the framers of the Constitution knew what they were doing and knew what they were talking about when they wrote the Constitution, and Ted Cruz is a student of the founders, and that's a bad thing in Robert Reich's eyes. He says it on the video. I'm not making it up. Everything that Robert Reich says is a bad thing to have is really all about the Constitution. In other words, the Democrat Party and Robert Reich have just proven they do not like the Constitution. And I know that Donald Trump is not a full-fledged constitutionalist. I get it. But then you got some people that are arguing neither is Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz does, he's a type of evangelical Christian that holds up the Bible in one hand and has a glass of whiskey in the other. Well, he does that with the Constitution. He'll hold up the Constitution in one hand, but then he'll be supporting and signing away America's rights with the TPP trade agreement. Yeah, he was, as far as I can tell, he was in full support of that. And this whole amnesty program, that everybody's accusing of Rubio of being a part of the Gang of Eight. I got to tell you, looking at, and I have had the chance and opportunity to look at the videos and the tapes and read some of the stuff that Ted Cruz was talking about when it came to amnesty. And his explanation, he was trying to get it killed, doesn't fly. It doesn't fly. I'm sorry. I've heard it. I've listened to it. I've read it. I've seen it with mine own eyes, as Darth Vader would say. It doesn't pass the smell test. You can't tell me that he was trying to get the bill killed. No, he was trying to improve it so it would get passed. So don't give me this garbage that he's the perfect candidate. Look, the inside the Beltway folks are scared of both of them.
Your credit score is a joke, and you're too embarrassed to let anyone know your 3-digit score. Sucks to be you, but it doesn't have to. Delete all those unsightly derogatory items, collections, charge-offs, repossessions, judgments, tax liens, bankruptcies, and foreclosures. To turbo boost your credit scores, call 888-541-5571 or visit us at 700creditnow.com. You've heard the old adage, cash is king, but in some cases, credit can be just as powerful as cash. Not many people have $200,000 to put down on a house, or $50,000 to put down on a car, or $25,000 to put down in a business. But look around and you'll find that millions of Americans do have homes and cars all purchased with little to no money down. To turbo boost your credit scores, call 888-541-5571. Again, that's 888-541-5571. Or visit us at www.700creditnow.com.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. Then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-616-8010. That's 1-800-616-8010. Again, 1-800-616-8010. Call now.
Did you ever look at the stains in your coffee cup and then realize that's exactly what happens to your teeth? Power Swabs is the 5-minute solution to get your teeth white without visiting the dentist. This is Ben Gordon with Power Swabs, and if your teeth are stained from coffee, tea, or smoking, all it takes is 5 minutes with Power Swabs. In 5 minutes, you'll see an average of 2 shades whiter teeth, and in 7 days, 6 shades. It's clinically proven to whiten natural teeth as well as caps and veneers. The secret is a tooth detergent that was developed by Dr. Martin Ginniger that lifts stains off of your teeth. Best of all, there's no messy strips or trays that you have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth for 5 minutes and you're done. To try Power Swabs risk-free, call 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140. I guarantee your bright white smile will have your friends talking about how great you look. Try it risk-free today. 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
When you're ready to take the edge off a hectic day, I suggest you start with a little music from Franz Black.
I guess there's lots of ways to look at things that don't seem right.
No Worries has just been released on iTunes and Amazon.
It's gonna be alright.
You can find Franz Black and his music on his website, franzblack.com. F-R-A-N-Z black.com.
It's gonna be alright.
You're listening to me, your lovable host, L. Rod, here on the Rod Eccles Show.
Bring the rain.
back. 603-835-3224 is the number to call should you wish to join me here live on the Rod Eccles Show. Politico.com is reporting Ryan and McConnell's plan for Donald Trump because they don't know what the hell to do about stopping this guy. The GOP leaders have an almost impossible task in figuring out how to deal with the incendiary frontrunner. Well, he's only incendiary because, look, I love it when people attack Donald Trump as being an arrogant, pompous ass. Well, he's always been that way. But it's as if, look, it takes a slightly arrogant person to be president of the United States. And have you people forgotten who the current president is? There isn't a person who is more arrogant, pompous, and narcissistic than the current occupier of the White House. Now, frankly, I don't think Donald Trump is going to be taking Air Force One all over the place. Well, for Donald, probably the only thing that could be better than his own private jets is Air Force One. It would be a step up for him. But the White House necessarily wouldn't be a step up in residency. It would probably be a step down for Donald. Have you ever seen some of the pictures of the inside of some of his homes? I mean, you want to talk about, it's rather ostentatious, actually, his taste. But that stuff is not in the White House. I don't know how he's going to look. I don't know how, if I were used to living in such luxury like Donald Trump surrounds himself with, and he's no different from a lot of other multi-millionaires and billionaires. Another one of my personal business heroes is Larry Ellison. The ninja businessman, the samurai businessman. Have you ever? I've seen a couple of tours on TV of the inside of Larry Ellison's house. You want to talk about absolutely amazing? I mean, just incredible. That's Larry Ellison. So, yeah, for him, moving into the White House would also be a step down. Just saying. And look, for these guys who are used to living like they're living, it's a big deal to take a step back. Now, I remember. Now you have to remember back in the 80s and 90s, Donald Trump. Donald Trump actually bought and refurbished the old presidential yacht. And when there was a financial downturn, real estate downturn, and he had to sell off some of his stuff in order to prevent from going personally bankrupt, he had to let go of the yacht. He had to let go of some of his first planes, the first Trump planes. He had to let go of those. But Donald says, don't worry about it. I'm not going anywhere. I'll be back bigger, better, stronger, badder than ever. And sure enough, he was, because he learned from the things and the mistakes that he had made in the 80s and early 90s. He learned from them. And he avowed that he was not going to repeat those same mistakes, and evidently he didn't. And I can't say this about many politicians. But businessmen, in order for them to stay in business and to keep the type of lifestyle that they're used to, they can't keep making the same mistakes over and over and over again. They have to learn from their mistakes, and then they have to move on. Because they have this air of wanting to win, and winning to them means more money in their pocket, more jobs created for average people. That's not a politician's view of the world. Their view of the world is, well, I just want what I want because I've got the power to want what I want. It doesn't matter if their ideas work or not. They're going to keep trying and trying and trying and trying. And once they get their ideas established and put into place, even if those ideas still don't work, they're going to leave those ideas there, and they're going to try to keep fixing them. But that's a politician. That's not a businessman. A businessman sees something doesn't work, he cuts his losses, moves on, and does something different or better. He doesn't try to fix something that obviously is not going to work. But unfortunately, that is the case for politicians. And that's not Donald Trump. Now you got Ryan out there and McConnell who consider themselves to be steadfast guardians of the Republican creed. Are you kidding me? Steadfast guardians of the past 7 or 8 years is nothing but capitulation? Well, where is this Republican conservatism that you guys are guarding? I mean, Speaker Ryan, you gave the president a budget that was so onerous, so big, so ridiculous, that even Chuck Schumer announced with a smile on his face and a little bit of surprise in his voice, yeah, we got more than we asked for. Can you believe it? So, Congressman Ryan, are you saying that's what you've got to protect from Donald Trump? Because, Donald Trump is going to come in there and he's going to start knocking heads around and he's going to probably slash the budget. Something like you promised to do when you were first elected. And you didn't do it. And now you're in a position to make sure that gets done. And what do? You end up handing the president one of the largest budgets this country has ever seen. It was so big, so full of junk, that even Chuck Schumer shouted with glee that even he got more than what he asked for. And that's what you want to protect. And Donald Trump is coming in, and Ted Cruz is coming in as completely intolerant of such BS. And that's why you don't like those two, but that's especially why you don't like Donald, because Donald has spent absolutely zero time. He has not paid his quote-unquote dues in Washington, D.C. Ted Cruz has been among the vipers. So at least you can accept Ted Cruz because Ted Cruz is in the viper pit with you. You guys have tried to sting him and bite him, and you've hardly ever affected him. I get that. That's why you don't like him. He's a nasty guy. Well, he probably is. And if you're going to go against the Washington establishment, you can't be nice about it. You got to be kind of nasty. Donald Trump may have that right about Ted Cruz. Maybe Ted Cruz is a nasty guy. But I got to tell you can't be nice. You got to be a little bit nasty when you're taking these people on. I mean, I've often just looked at people, and people, some people often say, "Well, don't you care about what other people think?" And I have always responded, as far back as I can remember, no. This is not something new. I have never been a part of the establishment. I have never gone along to get along. And you can ask my parents. Well, you ask my mother. She's, my father's passed away. But ask my sibling. They'll tell you no. He's never been a part of the in crowd just to be a part of the in crowd. One thing my parents never really had to worry about. They never had to worry about me doing stupid stuff due to peer pressure. Quite frankly, they never had to. My sister's kind of the same way. Never had to worry about her either. So I understand where Cruz is coming from. And people will look at you and consider you to be nasty, to be mean, to be a jerk, to be an a-hole, all that kind of stuff, because you're standing on your own, and they think that they do not have the inner strength and the intestinal fortitude to do that. So naturally, if you're standing on your own against everybody else, then you must be an a-hole. You must be a nasty person. And you're going to come across that way. And you know what? I say, oh, well, that's not my problem. Because, although I hate this phrase, but here it is. Because at the end of the day, I'm the one that has to live with me. Nobody else does. I'm the one that has to live with me. I'm the one that has to lay my head down on the pillow and say, okay, are you embarrassed about what you did today? Are you ashamed about what you did today? Or today, did you do something to make yourself and your parents proud? I'd much rather lay my head down on the pillow every night and say, yes, I accomplished something to make myself and my parents proud. Which often means not going along with the crowd. And although Donald and Ted don't seem to go along with the crowd too often, they don't go along go along with the crowd enough to make sure that those who are in power, who want them to go along with the crowd, notice them and understand that they're not going to be able to get them to capitulate. So they're going to have a hissy fit because, in other words, they're not going to have somebody, one that they can control, or at least somebody who's going to play ball. Why do you think you have all of this similarity between the Republican Party and the Democrat Party? Why do you think you have Republicans who are not trying to stop Barack Hussein Obama? Because they're all in this to get along, to go along, and to go along to get along so they can share the power. That's the only reason. So House Speaker Paul Ryan and Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell have an almost impossible political task as Donald Trump steamrolls to the nomination, strategically distancing themselves from the Republican standard bearer, keeping a close watch on their party's brand, all the while trying to keep Congress in GOP hands in November. I don't think Donald Trump is going to be the reason that the GOP could lose control of the Senate or the House in this November. The reason why the GOP is going to lose the Senate or the House, most likely the Senate, and look, folks, I'm gonna have to be honest and prepare you for this. I do not believe that the GOP will lose control of the House. In fact, I think that they will probably gain a couple of seats in the House. But there is a very, very real possibility that Harry Reid is going to be the leader of the Senate again. There's a very real possibility that the GOP is going to lose the Senate. And that would be a shame. But you know what? They haven't done anything. McConnell hasn't done anything. And frankly, there aren't too many senators. You know, Cruz is one. But there aren't too many GOP senators that have been pressing the GOP to get things done. I mean, what is it? The gang of Tea Party 6, the Freedom Caucus? What is it, 6 or 8 of them? They're a small number. They're the only ones that seem to be trying to press McConnell into doing conservative things. And McConnell just basically, you know, he waves his hand, waves them aside. Get lost. But they're not doing anything. And what they're failing to understand, and this is the Democrats too, they're failing to understand this, is they're failing to understand the complete and sheer and utter anger of the American voter towards them. For not doing anything. I mean, look, we've got 10 consecutive years of less than 3% gross domestic product growth. So in other words, our economy is not growing. We're now, what are we, 5 or 6 years into having, recession level unemployment. 95 million people out of the workforce. I mean, this is ridiculous. And they're trying to convince us that they have an unemployment rate of 4.9 or 5% or something stupid like that, when the real number is U6 number is much higher than that, because there are 90. The labor participation rate in this country is the lowest that it's been since the Great Depression. How is it that we can have such a low unemployment number if the labor participation rate is so damn low? It's a lie. The American people realize that all of this is a lie. It's smoke and mirrors. And yet, Congressman Ryan, you still go along with Democrats and give them even more than what they ask for. So yes, the American voter is totally and completely ticked off. And every time you and other spokespeople from the inner circle of the Republican Party inside the Beltway come out and start lashing out against Donald Trump and Ted Cruz, you infuriate even more voters who then decide, well, now this year I am going to get up and go vote. And you can see it in the record numbers of voters turning out in just about every single state so far in primary and caucuses. On the Republican side, not on the Democrat side. That should tell you something, too. This country wants to turn the ship more to the right. And they will turn to somebody who is promising them in a bold and brash movement to undo just about everything that Barack Hussein Obama and the Republican elite have established and put into place over the last freaking 7 years. And that's Donald Trump. He's the one promising that. And the American voter is so ticked off at you guys in Washington on both sides of the political aisle that they want you all out. And they will do whatever it takes to totally and completely irk the hell out of you. And the more you moan and complain, the more people are coming out of the woodwork who have not voted ever or who haven't voted for years, and they're saying Trump or Cruz is our guy because he pisses the hell off of the insiders. And yet you refuse to see this. You are going to lose power. I know that you're going to fight very hard to keep it because power is, that's what it's all about. And and you see it. You can see the end coming, which is why you are flailing about like you're a drowning cat. You're trying to save your political ass. While at the same time, you're alienating the base that you claim that you're trying to protect and preserve. Because frankly, you're not trying to protect and preserve it. Because if you were trying to protect and preserve that base that you so say that you want to, that you've been charged to protect, you would not have been voting for half the stuff that you voted for. You wouldn't be using the excuses, well, we don't have the power. You'd be using every political tactic within your power to stop Barack Obama. And yet you don't do jack. And, frankly, the American people are tired of it. And they're not, look, this is amazing how, look, at the beginning of last year, what did we have? What were the memes? One of the most popular memes that was going around was asking the question, what year is it? Clinton versus Bush for the presidency. That's what everybody thought. That's what everybody thought. It was going to be another Bush-Clinton president. I mean, and everybody was, the memes were, what year is it? Because it's the same thing over and over again. But that ended pretty fast. That ended very, very fast. Bush was quickly, well, Bush never even got any traction. Jeb, that is. Because let me tell you, everybody was expecting it to be Jeb Bush. The inside the Beltway folks just knew it was going to be Jeb. Yeah, Jeb's he's going to be running against Clinton. It's going to be a Clinton-Bush rematch. But this time it was going to be Jeb that wins, it's going to be a Bush that wins, not a Clinton. Let me tell you something. The GOP insiders are pissed off at you voters that you dispatched Jeb Bush. Not only did you dispatch him, but you did it in a quick and harsh manner. As much money as this whole, if anything, Jeb Bush just proved that money does not buy elections. That man spent over $100 million in his short stint as a contender for the presidency. And look where it got him. Nowhere. Well, Donald Trump and Ted Cruz have collectively spent the least on their campaigns. And what are they? They're the front runners. Front runners. That's also going to tell the GOP something. I mean, any way you look at it, the reason why, Congressman Ryan, you're so ticked off is because you have found out, along with Democrats, that you're losing your grip and your complete control over the American voter. I mean, there was no possible way that Bernie Sanders was supposed to give Hillary Clinton a run for her money, the fight of her. Look, Hillary Clinton has got to win. As much as she might not really want to do this. And there were times when I thought for sure that Hillary Clinton was just like, she was so tired and so that she just wanted to give up. But she's fighting literally, I believe she's fighting for her life. Because if she does not win the nomination, there would be no reason for all of this other stuff that's currently going on, all these other investigations, there would be no reason to keep them from happening. Hillary Clinton's life would be over. She's got to win. But Bernie Sanders is this huge thorn in her side. And they just can't get rid of him. And on the right, you've got Ted Cruz and Donald Trump. And no matter what they've done to Donald Trump, he just keeps on gaining support. He keeps on gaining more and more support. And so you got to ask when that is the case, you've got to ask, why is that the case? And the case is simply because the American people are sick and tired of the same old tricks, the same old BS, the same old lies, the same old excuses. And now they're looking at somebody who's promising them a new day that is completely outside the loop of you people in power. And you're wondering why you can't get rid of Donald.
Give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. Sign him up for the Box of Bait Club and he'll never be hungry again. The Box of Bait Club is a brand new dream come true for every fisherman. Something new and different in your tackle box every month. Every month, another excuse to get outside and do what you love. Don't let this one get away. The Box of Bait Club is currently accepting a limited number of pre-orders with subscriptions starting at $39.95 per month. Find out more now. Log on to boxofbaitclub.com.
I'm just so happy my father had a chance to see his kids before he passed. I just want to say thank you.
When her father fell ill, the American Red Cross was able to help get Veronica's brother home from the Navy to speak to his father one last time. It's thanks to your donations that we can connect military families when they need it most. Please donate today at redcross.org.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. And then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-616-8010. That's 1-800-616-8010. Again, 1-800-616-8010. Call now.
Attention business owners. We know that owning a business means getting things done right now. So if your right now list includes a new building, call the Right Now Company. General Steel. We can design a building for your business quickly and save you thousands of dollars. That's right, thousands. You may think General Steel only builds large projects or that you can't afford General Steel quality. Well, check these prices. How about a 40 by 60 foot building for under $22,000? Or even a 50 by 100 for under $35,000? That's right, a 5,000 square foot building for under $35,000. And these buildings all have General Steel quality. Best of all, you can still order a building and have it delivered in time to build this year. How's that for right now? So if your right now list includes a new building, call the Right Now Company. General Steel.
800-393-5756. 800-393-5756. 800-393-5756. That's 800-393-5756.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
Boy, man, I had a rough night's sleep. Boy, I got a letter from the IRS yesterday and I just couldn't sleep. Man, I'm dying here. Somebody help me.
IRS problems affect more than just your finances. If you're ready to take back control of your life and you owe more than $10,000, you need to call the tax doctor. Their expert staff can immediately protect you from the IRS and state collectors and get you the best possible tax settlement guaranteed. The IRS has recently released new programs geared in helping struggling taxpayers, where you may qualify to settle your tax debt and wipe out up to 85% or more of what you currently owe. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes, call the tax doctor right now. See if you qualify to pay less. 800-989-1694. 800-989-1694. 800-989-1694. Again, 800-989-1694.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. We leave no warrior behind. Wounded Warrior Project is a non-profit organization created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war. Whether those scars are physical or mental, we're here to make sure that they heal. And whether it's helping those with post-traumatic stress disorder live a normal life again, or giving much-needed support to injured warriors in veterans' hospitals. Because no one deserves our help more than the men and women who risk their lives to keep us safe. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge. Welcome back. It is I, your lovable host, Rod, broadcasting here live from my bunkerized studio somewhere within the great grand state of New Hampshire, where the state motto is live free or die. The number to call this morning is 603-835-3224. Got a bit of exciting news for all of you wonderful ecclesiastites. Yours truly, that would be me, your leader in the conservative constitutional movement, will be moving to an FM radio station in April. Yes, we are, as we speak, we are crossing all the T's and dotting all the I's and putting the final touches on it, but it already appears to be a done deal. And my headquarters or flagship, the bunkerized studio, will be moving to an FM radio station studio. Same time, 9 a.m. to noon. Right out of Manchester, New Hampshire. That is, and we will announce the station ID and call letters in a few weeks, a couple of weeks, as the date gets closer to the new launch. But yes, we are. Some people, they always ask, well, what station are you on? And it's always the older crowd that asks the station. The younger crowd seems to ask, well, how can we listen to you? So now we'll either way in the future when people ask either one of those questions in those particular ways, I'll be able to tell them that it'll be the FM station, because it's really kind of interesting. Well, can we hear you? Where can we hear you? What station you're on? Well, it's still going to be a problem, because if I'm traveling around giving keynotes and all that kind of stuff, obviously you're not going to be able to pick up an FM radio station out of Manchester down in, South Carolina. But people like to, they older folks, they still like to tend to go to the radio and be able to listen to it. So, that is, it's not too soon to mention it or bring it up, because it is a done deal. It's just working out the finer details, as I said. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be, frankly, it's going to be a boost for that station. Not to make it sound like that I'm this big deal, but, evidently I'm becoming a big deal. And I've got all of you out there to thank for it. It's really because of all of you listening. Seriously, it's. I mean, you could choose to spend your time listening to anybody you want, and I am honored that you've chosen to listen to me. So this is exciting news. I'm real, I guess you could say, no, don't worry. It in no way does this change. Is it going to change who I am or what I am? We made that extremely and abundantly clear when we first started talking about this some months ago. This is not an overnight thing. This has been going on. These negotiations have been going on for months. Months now. Yes, it started, last year. So, but and they've come to the conclusion that they do not want me to change at all, and they're kind of insisting that I don't actually. So there you have it. I'm not going to change, and they don't want me to change, and they're insisting that I don't. So I think it's safe to say that there isn't going to be much of a change. Now, you may hear a slight improvement in sound quality. You might notice that that there'll be a little bit more professionalism, maybe simply because obviously at some point they'll have an engineer instead of running all the boards myself while trying to do the program. So things are only going to get better. I mean, those aspects will change. And yes, I do believe the phone number, I don't think we'll be able to integrate this phone number, not cost effectively anyway, over into the radio. But I think we're looking into actually getting a dedicated 800 number. So the number will change. Yes, there you go. There will be an on-air change. It will most likely be the phone number. But right now, the phone number is still toll-free for most locations within the U.S. and Canada. It's 603-835-3224. But the phone number, once we go to the station sometime in April, I think we're looking at mid-April, will probably be changed. If you are a syndicator, if you are listening to this program live or on a replay on another network, there will be no change in your status whatsoever. The feed will obviously, where you're getting the feed from, will obviously change. But other than that, there will be no change for you. Everything is staying exactly the same. All existing agreements will remain in place for you. So, it's probably going, for many of you who are picking up the feed live, who are streaming the feed live, for many of you, it will probably be easier. So that's the big news. We're going FM, as it were. We're going FM, and who knows where we're going to go from here. That's why I always say, look, if you just tell two of your friends or coworkers or family members to listen in, that's all I ask for. This show can blow up big time in a short period of time. And I think it is. And if you're tired of, I'm thinking about removing my self-imposed stipulation on not going after other talk show hosts by name. I mean, sometimes I'll talk about them in general terms, but I get listening to some of these guys. And it is guys, because it's mostly guys when it comes to the political shows and the current event shows. I mean, there's only Laura Ingraham, really, on the national level. That's a woman that's in the political realm. Yes, there are some females. I've always liked Dr. Laura. Although is she still on the air? Did she remove herself? I know she had, at one point she was, as far as syndicated talk shows, she wasn't, she wasn't the top political. Well, she wasn't considered political because she's not, but she was in the top 10 of syndicated talk shows, radio talk shows. I haven't heard her in a while. I don't know if she's still on. I've always liked Dr. Laura. She's kind of a no-nonsense, some people would call her, she was the Martha Stewart of radio. Kind of a B-double-I-T, ch, is what people said of her. I didn't think so. I thought she said it. She told the truth and told it like it was, and if you didn't like it, that wasn't Laura's problem. It was Dr. Laura's problem. It was yours. I loved listening to Dr. Laura. I actually learned a lot of stuff from her, too. You can learn some stuff. If you can believe that, you can actually learn by listening to radio. But I think Laura Ingraham is the only female syndicated talk show host out there. At least in the top 10. I mean, I know there's others. But I'm big nationally syndicated ones, top 10 type of stuff, top 20 type of stuff. I think she's the only one. It's a otherwise all boys, network pretty much, dominated mostly by men. And but I don't. So when I talk about them, I usually talk about them in general, or I'll mention them by name when I'm trying to be positive about something that they said. But I got to tell you, I think that policy is going to have to change. And the reason it's going to have to change is because some of these people have just interjected themselves big time into this race, and they need to be called out on it. Now, the people that I've heard, I know some people say, "Well, you're going to go after Rush. You're going to go after Rush." I know Rush is kind of all over the place. Although I do believe that Rush is privately, he would support Ted Cruz over Donald Trump. Make no mistake about it, Rush Limbaugh will support whoever the GOP nominee is. And listening to Hannity, I got to tell you, it sounds like Hannity's leaning towards Trump. Which would be kind of, his good friend, Mark Levin, is totally and completely in the bag for Ted Cruz, as is Glenn Beck. Now, I have heard Michael Savage seems to be going for Trump. But so, there you have it. Those are really all the top of the top biggies. But the Glenn Beck thing, this is why I have to change my policy. I have no idea what the hell is going on with Glenn. I mean, it seems like when he was thinking of leaving Fox before he actually did leave Fox, when he was starting to think about leaving Fox, there was something going on I don't know. Did somebody whack him over the head or something at that particular point in time? Because if you notice, it seems like there was a deviation from what people the standard Glenn Beck versus I'm going to say pre-Fox, the pre-Fox Beck versus the post-Fox Beck. They're almost like two different people. I don't know. Do we have is this a Glenn Beck doppelganger? Because this guy has gone off the deep end. And he's become part of the establishment problem. And I know he would never like to hear that. But he is. He has fallen in line with everybody else on the Republican side, bashing on Donald Trump. Not just bashing. If all their words were actually bullets, these people would have obliterated Donald Trump with 50 caliber machine gun fire. I'm just using that as an analogy. This is absolutely incredibly insane. And I have never, and I haven't followed Levin closely, but I have listened to him on and off over the years, and I have never seen Mark Levin so partisan within the Republican Party ever before, as he is now. I mean, it is almost, and some people have tried to explain it that I guess, I don't know, somebody in the Cruz camp is dating or married to a member of the Levin inner circle family. I don't know the whole details, but I don't really care. The point is that Levin has gone off the deep end for Cruz for no particular reason. He believes that he says that Cruz is this constitutional type of person, but and then just this morning, because I keep hearing about his eligibility and this and that and everybody, and I'm like, wait a minute now, there has got to be somebody who can put this all in perspective. There has got to be somebody who knows this stuff inside and out, because this should not be this complicated. And I got to tell you, listening to Levin, he convinced me a long time ago why Barack Obama would be a legal citizen and would be considered to be eligible to be president, even if he was not born in Hawaii. And I use Levin as my anchor on explaining that when people say, well, he's not eligible to be president. I kept saying, well, yeah, actually, Obama would still be eligible. And he's using that same reasoning behind Ted Cruz. Because Ted Cruz really wasn't born on American soil. He was born in Canada. And for a while, he had up until, 2 years ago, he had a dual citizenship. I don't know how you don't know you have a dual citizenship, but evidently Ted Cruz said that he didn't. I don't buy it. But these people have just gone off the deep end, and so I'm trying to figure out, well, what is the truth behind the Constitution and citizenship eligibility? Well, lo and behold, there is something out there about that, and it's the it has to do with the framer of the 14th Amendment, and the 14th Amendment was really geared towards, and I've known this, was really geared towards the recently freed slaves after the Civil War. Of that, there's very little dispute on that, and it was an argument that really explains why anchor babies are not really by the 14th Amendment are not citizens. They're not, and if an anchor baby is not a citizen, is not really construed to be a citizen by the Constitution, then thereby the argument that Ted Cruz, simply by his mother being an American, is not necessarily a natural-born citizen. And if Ted Cruz is not a natural-born citizen because it cannot necessarily be inferred from his mother alone, then no, he's not eligible to be president, constitutionally speaking. Now, also, the framer of the 14th Amendment, person who wrote it, also has said that eligibility, citizenship, is the sole purveyance of Congress. Congress shall determine, according to the Constitution, what construes a citizen and a natural-born citizen. The problem is Congress has never done its duty to completely and totally and utterly define natural-born citizen. That is their job to do so, and they have not done so. Ever. So let's not just blame the current Congress. Previous Congress have not done their duty in order to determine this. So maybe they're afraid that Donald Trump would definitely force them into actually defining what natural born is. And so it's not so clear cut that Cruz is a natural born citizen. And I don't want to play the natural born versus not natural born game. But and look, you people who absolutely love Ted Cruz, I understand that you love him, but I got to tell you, that's irrelevant. Does not matter how much you like somebody. I am a constitutional conservative. What the Constitution says goes. If you don't like what the Constitution says, then change it by the amendment process. Plain and simple. You just don't get to overlook something that you don't like. And I think it's high time that we've got these people that we elect into Congress as our representatives and our senators to start doing their constitutional duty and start defining the stuff that's in the Constitution that says is their purvey. They're the ones that are supposed to define what the final meanings are. They're not doing that. They have not done that. They need to do that. But I'll tell you why they won't. Because if they go in there and if they determine once and for all by an act of Congress, which the Constitution says is their job alone, then that means there are going to be people that are going to be left out. There will no longer be any question. And of course, they're not going to be able to say that anchor babies are American citizens because the American people would have a complete and total conniption fit and throw them all out in their collective, you know what. And they know it. This is why they don't want to do it. You need somebody. Maybe Donald Trump is a person to do it. I know Ted Cruz will not do it. And Ted Cruz will not do it because he doesn't want to open that potential wound for himself. So you Cruz people have got to understand that Ted Cruz calls himself a constitutionalist, but he isn't going to stand on the Constitution and demand that Congress do their duty in this particular area. Because it would endanger him. And you Cruz people do not see that. Either that or you refuse to see it. And I'm telling you right now that is what has to be done at some point. Because we got to stop this anchor baby crap. It's got to stop. In no way do you get to do something, break a country's law, and then benefit from breaking their law. And that's exactly what anchor babyism is. It's breaking the law, but still benefiting from breaking the law. And that's got to stop. And maybe Donald Trump could force Congress, maybe embarrass Congress enough to actually doing its job. But I'm telling you right now that a President Cruz is not going to do that. Because it does not benefit him. In fact, it may hurt him. So don't get mad at me for pointing this stuff out. I'm only here to point out the truth. And that's the truth. And the truth is you've got a bunch of people on both sides of the political aisle, inside the Beltway types, who don't like Trump because Trump is not an insider. And I've seen it. I've heard people disparage Trump simply because Trump is not an insider. And some of these people on both sides, Democrats and Republicans, they only want the insider. And I'm not talking about the powers that be. I'm talking about the voter. They're entrapped by the inner circle, maybe because they want to be a part of it. I don't know. But they only seem to want to elect or have representing them insiders. But the rest of the country, the vast majority of this country, are sick and tired of insiders, and yet the only people that it seems that the inside the Beltway kind, like the speaker seems to be trying to get the attention of, is insiders who are the minority.
You're listening to me, your lovable host, L-Rod, here on the Rod Eccles Show.
Your credit score is a joke, and you're too embarrassed to let anyone know your 3-digit score. Sucks to be you, but it doesn't have to. Delete all those unsightly derogatory items, collections, charge-offs, repossessions, judgments, tax liens, bankruptcies, and foreclosures. To turbo boost your credit scores, call 888-541-5571 or visit us at 700creditnow.com. You've heard the old adage, cash is king. But in some cases, credit can be just as powerful as cash. Not many people have $200,000 to put down on a house, or $50,000 to put down on a car, or $25,000 to put down in a business. But look around and you'll find that millions of Americans do have homes and cars all purchased with little to no money down. To turbo boost your credit scores, call 888-541-5571. Again, that's 888-541-5571. Or visit us at www.700creditnow.com.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. Then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-616-8010. That's 1-800-616-8010. Again, 1-800-616-8010. Call now.
Did you ever look at the stains in your coffee cup and then realize that's exactly what happens to your teeth? Power Swabs is the 5-minute solution to get your teeth white without visiting the dentist. This is Ben Gordon with Power Swabs, and if your teeth are stained from coffee, tea, or smoking, all it takes is 5 minutes with Power Swabs. In 5 minutes, you'll see an average of 2 shades whiter teeth, and in 7 days, 6 shades. It's clinically proven to whiten natural teeth as well as caps and veneers. The secret is a tooth detergent that was developed by Dr. Martin Ginniger that lifts stains off of your teeth. Best of all, there's no messy strips or trays that you have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth for 5 minutes and you're done. To try Power Swabs risk-free, call 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140. I guarantee your bright white smile will have your friends talking about how great you look. Try it risk-free today. 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
When you're ready to take the edge off a hectic day, I suggest you start with a little music from Franz Black.
I guess there's lots of ways to look at things that don't seem right.
No Worries has just been released on iTunes and Amazon.
It's gonna be alright.
You can find Franz Black and his music on his website, friendsblack.com. F-R-A-N-Z black.com.
It's gonna be alright.
$835-3224 is the number to call should you wish to join me here live on the Rod Eccles Show. Welcome back to all you wonderful people. Ecclesiastites, fellow liberty lovers, all that kind of stuff. Hey, did you see or hear about the TSA stopping a woman? Yes, the TSA stopped a woman who was wearing a particular type of shoe. I wish I could make this stuff up. I really do. But hey, the TSA is out there. You know, I got to be careful because I do quite a bit of flying now, and I don't want to be construed as being a potential domestic terrorist by the TSA, because here's how the TSA gets away with this stuff, and this is how they force us into capitulation. Is usually you do not get a whole hell of a lot of time. They do not open up. You do not have the ability to get into certain, depending on the airport, of course, but you do not have the ability to get through the checkpoint until a certain period of time before your flight. So you don't, and they're known to hold people up for no particular good reason for hours, forcing people to miss their flight when there's no need to do that. So if you challenge them, let's say you're there an hour before your flight's supposed to board and leave. Well, if you challenge something stupid that they do, they'll attempt to hold you for 2 hours. But if you get there 2 hours ahead of time, they will attempt to hold you for 3 hours. This has been shown to be proven all over the country, by the way. So this is how they get people to just accept whatever the TSA is doing to them. I'm no different. I'll walk through and they'll say, well, you got to do this, this, and this. And I give them a look. I'm like, are you really serious? I've gone that far to challenge people, challenge them and say, "Are you serious?" And coming back from overseas, I've done the Barack Obama, and I have apologized for our TSA, and we've had people just look at me and say, "Well, it's a job." I'm telling you. The United States airport security screening system is a laughingstock around the world. Because nobody goes through anywhere else on the planet, evidently, that we go. You hear people talking about this in foreign airports. Well, at least it's not like, they make you take off your belt and your shoes. You got passengers, people, dignitaries laughing about what we go through here in this country. Just for a domestic flight, for crying out loud. Forget going overseas. I got to tell you, landing, we going to Paris, going to Iceland and then to Paris was completely and totally surreal for me. Because after flying domestically in the States, now I'm old enough to remember being able to, there was very little, if any, security checkpoints before. And I'm old enough to remember that kind of flying. I'm old enough to remember that you could, without having a ticket, go to the big windows in the airport and watch the planes land and take off. You can't do that anymore. That's the inner side. That's past the checkpoint for you to be able to do that now. You just can't go to the airport and watch airplanes anymore. Used to be able to do that. I remember being able to do that. You didn't have to take off your shoes, take off a belt. You weren't, threatened with being groped. But I got used to this whole idea that you had to go through this body scanner thing, and if you didn't want to go through the body scanner, the TSA was going to attempt to hold you up and make you and strip you of all sorts of dignity by groping you, and we've seen it time and time again on video of them just groping people, even old people and little kids, for crying out loud. I mean, I have seen videos where the child, you get a 7 or 8-year-old child who is crying because of how they're being manhandled and groped by a TSA agent. I have seen video where they've got a 10-year-old boy has a look of horror on his face as the male TSA agent says, "Hey, what's this? What's this?" Around the kid's genital area. And hey, wait a minute now. You've got people in legislatures all across this country who think that it is more important to take on drivers for the sharing economy like Uber or Lyft. Oh, they need better. They need better screening of the potential of people who want to be drivers for Uber or Lyft. But we don't need better screening on determining who is going to screen us at an airport. I mean, we've all seen the horrifying videos of people. We've seen, trying to tell a person who has a colostomy bag that they can't take that with them. They've got to dump it out. Because the liquid, the bag is bigger than is alive. It's a freaking medical device. We are the laughingstock of the entire planet when it comes to the TSA. Remember, right after 9/11, you weren't even allowed to bring on fingernail clippers. As if you're going to be able to take over a plane with a pair of fingernail clippers. And yet, we just sort of reluctantly accepted all of this BS. Of course, you ask a lot of people, do you feel safer that they do this? And a lot of people will say, well, no. Because they're starting to understand and realize, well, even the TSA, they're going after people who have absolutely no intent, no ill will or intent, absolutely at all, and they're missing test after test after test. I'm surprised we haven't had another attack, really, because the government and private industry does all these wonderful tests on the TSA, and depending on the test, they miss up to 90% of the potential dangerous stuff getting through. I mean, you've gotten people who've gotten firearms, loaded firearms through the TSA. How? I don't know. Because, they seem to be pretty thorough. I mean, hell, I was going through one checkpoint, never been bothered before, and all of a sudden, after trying to come back home after giving a speech, TSA agent takes my laptop and says, we have to do additional screening. I said, for what? The screener gave it a red flag. Why would he give my laptop computer a red flag for the first time ever? It's only going to take about 30 seconds. Then he goes over to the station monitor. You can't see what they're doing. All I could see him do is take a wire and plug it in somewhere in the. I don't know where he plugged it in. Plugged it in. 30 seconds later, says you're all set. What could you have possibly done in 30 seconds to determine if my computer was a threat or not? I mean, this stuff is asinine. This randomness is asinine. Maybe I look like a Muslim to him, I guess. I don't know. I wasn't wearing any Muslim. I was wearing a suit. But I got to this stuff is just absolutely ridiculous. Now, why do I bring this up? Because here we have from the Hill yet another stupid story that they're going to use the show to try to prove that they're keeping us safe, which just shows how asinine the TSA is and how they're not keeping us safe, but they're only denying the American people of their rights and their dignity, basically. The TSA stops a woman with gun-shaped, high-heeled shoes. I kid you not. TSA officers stopped a woman who had a pair of high-heel shoes in the shapes of revolvers and faux bullet-lined bracelets at an airport over this past weekend. Now, I'm going to give a link for, put the picture up on rodeccles.net. But this stuff in no way looks real. In fact, I'm looking at these bracelets and thinking, it's the kind of stuff that, that you give your kid for, the toy bullet things, holsters and stuff. That's what this stuff, it looks like plastic. None of it looks real. And it's not individualized, so it doesn't come apart. It's all molded. So it's molded plastic. So the security official spoke to the woman at Baltimore International Airport after she attempted to bring the less than ideal accessories on her flight, according to a TSA spokeswoman. So now we're not. What if you walk around with your hands in the shape of a gun? Are you going to get arrested by the TSA because you're walking around the whole? As you're walking through, you're holding your hands like the shape of a gun. I mean, that's basically the same thing as these shoes. This is not James Bond. As a matter of fact, if it were, it would be somebody with wearing a pair of loafers that has something in them. So less than ideal because evidently TSA agent probably didn't like them. So the spokeswoman says, a friendly reminder, realistic replica firearms and ammunition are not permitted past TSA checkpoints. I'm looking at the picture. It's not realistic looking. The woman was told that had the items in one of her carry-on bags was told to put them in a checked bag. But, and here is why I said what I said earlier. The woman had to ditch them because she didn't want to miss her flight. Because to put them in a checked bag would mean that she would have to have a bag to check it, first of all. But that she would have to go outside of the TSA checkpoint area, back to the counter, to the airport ticket counter, check the bag there, then go back through the whole screening process again, and then proceed to her plane. But see, they probably delayed her long enough where she felt she was going to miss her plane if she did that. So for her, I don't know how much those shoes cost. I bet you they were not cheap. For her, she felt it was better for her to ditch her shoes. You got to be kidding me. In no way do these things look real. I have to ask the question, are TSA agents actually trained to notice what a real weapon actually looks like? I don't think that they are. And I got to tell you, a lot of these, if you want to just judge people by how they look, I get it. Looking at some of these TSA, at least in the Boston area, at Logan International Airport, if you want to judge people by their looks and if they're going to make you safe or not, you are not going to feel very safe just by looking at the majority of the TSA agents at the Boston International Airport. You are not. Now, I'm one that tries to say, do not judge a person or a person by their cover and how they generally appear. But I got to tell you, these are not the brightest of the bright or the best of the best that we have to offer that are working for the TSA at the Boston airport. In fact, I remember going through Boston International Airport one time, listening to a couple of guys that looked like they would be gaming nerds, because they were that heavy. So if somebody were to run, they wouldn't be able to catch him, for one. But all they could talk about while on the job, while screening passengers, was talk about video games. Now, granted, these two guys were probably in their 30s. And here they are talking about video games while screening people to go through the Boston International Airport. Yeah, that's really going to foster a sense of security in me. I'm sorry, but this is why we're the laughing stock of the world. This is why terrorist groups, they're not afraid of the United States. They know that they can attack us any damn time that they want. They've proven it over and over again. And it gets to it's so bad that even when we have a terrorist attack, you still have the president saying, well, it's a work-related, workspace violence. How long before everybody involved in the San Bernardino shooting decided to call it a terrorist act? They were calling it workplace violence. They were literally, go back and look at the news reports. They were calling it workplace violence. They refuse to call it terrorism. And yet, they obviously, this woman, now I don't know what she looked like, but this woman with these very unique high heel shoes, obviously to the TSA, looked like a potential female terrorist. She was going to pull out her high heel shoes and start blasting people on the airplane. Oh, what were the high heel shoes going to spit out? Lipstick? I don't know. I think maybe it is. I guess it is what it is, folks. It's just one of those things that has you shaking and scratching your head. But look, it doesn't foster a sense of security in me knowing that these people, these idiots, are in charge of our safety. But yet they don't have the first clue of what actually is something that's dangerous. Look, this is not necessarily true of every single TSA agent. In fact, there are some good ones. There are some decent ones. There are some that really know what they're doing. And there are some that are actually attempting to profile. If you go into a TSA checkpoint, you've got one who's standing, before you hand in your boarding pass and your ID. At some airports, there's a TSA agent before them. And he's talking to passengers and watching them. They're profiling. That is the TSA profile. Now, I don't know how well trained they are, but they're profiling you. That is their job, to stand there and talk to you about inane stuff sometimes. Because they're not only paying attention to you, to your reaction to how they're talking to you, but other people right around you. They are profiling. In fact, at one time, this TSA profiler, he was talking to this gentleman, and it was just about some normally you would think regular inane stuff, but I picked up on something. And when I got to that TSA agent, I looked at him and said, "Is it safe now?" I said, "Good job." And he glared at me. And I just said, I said to him again, good job. And then he smiled and said, thank you. Simply because he then knew that I knew he was profiling, and that's his job. And since then, I've asked the question: Do they have some agents who do that? And the answer that I got back from some very knowledgeable people are, yes, they're trying to. So, but they haven't gotten to the point of being look. From what I understand, now I haven't gone through any Israeli airport. From what I understand, you don't go through all this kind of BS that you go through the United States, these type of security checkpoints. They profile people, and that they are so good at profiling that since the last hijacking, in 1972 or something like that, there has not been a hijacking that has come out of a Israeli airport. That's how good they are at it. I would feel more safe. If that's the truth, I would feel safer flying out of Israel than flying out of the United States, and it's just for the simple reason that nothing gets past them in Israel. But we have these tests all the time here, and this stuff we see it. Even in the lamestream media, they're reporting how bad the TSA does. Now, I don't know why they're telling us this. Well, first of all, we should probably know so we can start demanding some changes. But at the same time, it's telling the whole world, hey, United States is wide open for any type of terrorist attack. If you're going to try to attempt to do anything, you're most likely going to succeed. So come on over and try. Because our TSA is so fixated on stopping little children and grannies and nuns than it is stopping you. We've got some major issues in this country but nobody wants to seem to talk about them. Because why? Because it would show them that even though that they want all this power and control, that they're really not in control. They don't know what they're doing. Half of our government officials don't know what they're doing. Yesterday on the Right Group, we're talking about government agents and wanting change. We have this thing with the with NOAA, NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, and how they want to start charging fishermen, over $700 per day to have a NOAA agent on board. $700 per day, not per week, per day. You realize that's $14,000 a month, basically. Just to have them on board. And we were talking about how that kind of stuff, these administrators, these departments, these administration heads, every time the president changes, they don't necessarily change. They kind of hang around to implement their agenda, no matter who the president is. In fact, it's so bad that these people, these administrators, they often look around and say, yeah, well, the president, he's just a temporary placeholder. He's my temporary boss. They don't know anything. And one of the things that they might be afraid of with Donald Trump is Donald Trump likes to know everything about everything in his business. And Donald Trump has no problem with walking down the halls, if necessary, and start firing people. I would love to see that. President walking down the halls of different departments and administrative buildings and just opening a door and saying, you're fired, closing it, and going off to the next door. That would be Donald Trump, I do believe. That would not be Ted Cruz. We just need some mass firings in our government, really. We'll be back.
Give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. Sign him up for the Box of Bait Club and he'll never be hungry again. The Box of Bait Club is a brand new dream come true for every fisherman. Something new and different in your tackle box every month. Every month, another excuse to get outside and do what you love. Don't let this one get away. The Box of Bait Club is currently accepting a limited number of pre-orders with subscriptions starting at $39.95 per month. Find out more now. Log on to boxofbaitclub.com.
I'm just so happy my father had a chance to see his kids before he passed. I just want to say thank you.
When her father fell ill, the American Red Cross was able to help get Veronica's brother home from the Navy to speak to his father one last time. It's thanks to your donations that we can connect military families when they need it most. Please donate today at redcross.org.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. Then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-616-8010. That's 1-800-616-8010. Again, 1-800-616-8010. Call now.
Attention business owners. We know that owning a business means getting things done right now. So if your right now list includes a new building, call the Right Now Company. General Steel. We can design a building for your business quickly and save you thousands of dollars. That's right, thousands. You may think General Steel only builds large projects or that you can't afford General Steel quality. Well, check these prices. How about a 40 by 60 foot building for under $22,000? Or even a 50 by 100 for under $35,000? That's right, a 5,000 square foot building for under $35,000. And these buildings all have General Steel quality. Best of all, you can still order a building and have it delivered in time to build this year. How's that for right now? So if your right now list includes a new building, call the Right Now Company. General Steel.
800-393-5756. 800-393-5756. 800-393-5756. That's 800-393-5756.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
Boy, man, I had a rough night's sleep. Boy, I got a letter from the IRS yesterday and I just couldn't sleep. Man, I'm dying here. Somebody help me.
IRS problems affect more than just your finances. If you're ready to take back control of your life and you owe more than $10,000, you need to call the tax doctor. Their expert staff can immediately protect you from the IRS and state collectors and get you the best possible tax settlement guaranteed. The IRS has recently released new programs geared in helping struggling taxpayers, where you may qualify to settle your tax debt and wipe out up to 85% or more of what you currently owe. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes, call the tax doctor right now. See if you qualify to pay less. 800-989-1694. 800-989-1694. 800-989-1694. Again, 800-989-1694.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. We leave no warrior behind. Wounded Warrior Project is a non-profit organization created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war. Whether those scars are physical or mental, we're here to make sure that they heal. And whether it's helping those with post-traumatic stress disorder live a normal life again, or giving much-needed support to injured warriors in veterans' hospitals. Because no one deserves our help more than the men and women who risk their lives to keep us safe. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge. To hour number 3 here on the Rod Eccles Show. The fastest 3 hours of Internet talk radio is right here on the Rod Eccles Show. Welcome back indeed. I am your lovable host, L. Rod, coming to you live from my bunkerized studio somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire, where the state motto is, live free or die. It is not big government or bust. The call-in number is still 603-835-3224. Again, that's 603-835-3224. Just, I know busting a gasket earlier this morning, but the time quickly moves on, and I'm not over it. I'm still ticked off about what the treatment of the GOP is of the American people, and I'm not going to let them go with it. I got a lot of stuff to try to get through in this hour, trying to cram a lot in this hour. But here's something I found from the Conservative Tribune. Yes, yours truly. I do my homework every morning. I'm constantly finding this stuff for you to understand. But Conservative Tribune.com, they had an article about the man who wrote the 14th Amendment and explains who it included. Following the release of presidential candidate Donald Trump's proposed immigration policies, a national debate has been sparked regarding the 14th Amendment to the Constitution and the idea of birthright citizenship. Many have argued that the 14th Amendment infers automatic citizenship upon any person born within the United States, even if the person's parents are in the country illegally. Not so. Even though this has led to the term anchor babies to describe such people, illegal parents, as the citizenship they are granted upon birth acts as an anchor to keep the family from being deported despite their lack of legal status. Anchor baby keeps the illegal family in the country. But that was simply not the intent. Simply was not intended by the 14th Amendment, proven by the words of the very man who authored the amendment in 1866, Michigan Senator Jacob M. Howard. Jacob M. Howard. He basically wrote the 14th. And he was saying that this is not the case. You don't get to simply hang around You don't get to hang around simply because you have an anchor baby child. Now, Howard explained in writing exactly what the scope of the law was when he introduced it, making it quite clear that it was referring to granting citizenship to the recently freed slaves only, not foreigners or even Native Americans. Now, according to the Federalist Papers Project, Howard wrote in part. Now, here's a man who actually wrote the 14th Amendment in his own words, telling you what the 14th Amendment means. He wrote in part that every person born within the limits of the United States and subject to their jurisdictions is by virtue of natural law and natural law a citizen of the United States. But he continued, this will not, of course, include persons born in the United States who are foreigners, aliens, who belong to the families of ambassadors or foreign ministers accredited to the government of the United States, but will include every other class of persons. So aliens, illegal or legal aliens, do not infer by their simple dropping the kid here on our shores makes that kid a citizen. Do you understand? Senator Howard, the person who wrote the 14th Amendment, specifically stated that aliens, those who are not legally immigrated here, aliens, legal and illegal, do not get to confer citizenship status by dropping their kid on our shores. And yet we've come to notice and say that we have this anchor baby crap. There is no such thing as anchor babies. The 14th Amendment and the author of the 14th Amendment is very damn clear that there is no such thing as anchor babies. And that our Congress has been woefully inept and in a full and complete dereliction of duty by not insisting on the enforcement of the law by getting rid of anchor babies. After learning this about the very man who wrote the 14th Amendment and what he said it meant and what the reasoning was behind it, I am now of the opinion that there is no such thing as an anchor baby, and that every illegal alien who has had a child here in these United States, that child is not a United States citizen, and they need to leave. Now, I know that's going to upset a lot of people. It's going to upset the dreamers. It's going to upset, let me tell you something, our own laws specifically state that aliens here do not get to confer citizenship on their children simply by having them born here. That is the law. So get rid of them. Go back home. You're a citizen of the country of which your parents came from. Not a citizen of the United States. Now, I'm not sure what the laws of Canada say. But basically, one can infer the same thing that the 14th Amendment would cover the citizens, no matter where, the citizens of this country, natural-born citizens of this country, no matter where they are. And therefore, if you are here in the United States but you are an alien, you do not confer citizenship to your child. Therefore, if you are an American citizen overseas, you do not confer citizenship into that country simply by the virtue of where they are born, but you are rather an alien in that country, according to the Constitution as it can be interpreted. Therefore, your child is an American, natural-born American citizen. And if that is the case, this is why Mark Levin has come out and said that Ted Cruz is a natural-born citizen. So frankly, because I'm reading all this stuff about the 14th Amendment, about what the man who wrote the 14th Amendment actually wrote down and said, Ted Cruz is a natural-born citizen based on the 14th Amendment, and we need to cut out this bullshit about him not being one. And you should be directing your attention to the people who need that attention directed towards them. And those are the so-called anchor babies, according to the 14th Amendment and according to the man who wrote it, Senator Howard. There is no such thing. Okay? Enough said. Why do we? You got to keep going over this stuff for some reason. Simply just like Donald Trump has got to keep disavowing David Duke. And, he's done it again. He's come out and say, I disavow, I don't like, these guys are assholes, jerks, all that kind of stuff on the KKK and David Duke. And if he doesn't, if they ask him again tomorrow and he doesn't immediately disavow him, you're going to have people like Rubio jumping up and say, see, look, he's a racist, he's a bigot, he's a homophobe, all this kind of stuff because he won't disavow David Duke. He's already done it, I don't know, a bazillion times already. And we have not said the same thing to Barack Hussein Obama about his friends, his acquaintances. We're talking his friends and acquaintances, not somebody. David, there is nobody on this planet who could possibly say that Donald Trump and David Duke are friends. Nobody. But he's got to disavow him anyway. How about you disavow the people that you said are your closest friends, that have meant so much to you, that have influenced you? Would it be different if Donald Trump called David Duke a friend and said, yeah, David Duke influenced me at some point in my life? Yeah. I used to believe everything that he said. I sat in his church for 20 years, the church of the KKK, but I didn't hear anything negative. Isn't that what Barack Obama said about Reverend Wright? Yeah, Reverend Wright, he's like a second father to me. Sat in his church, sat in the pew for 20 years. I didn't hear anything like that. It was all positive. But he doesn't have to disavow anybody. But Donald Trump not only has to disavow David Duke and the KKK, he's got to do it over and over and over and over and over again. How many times does one man have to do that? And like I said, shame on Marco Rubio. Shame on him for thinking that he can get away with stuff like this. I mean, this is just, it's absolutely, it's ridiculous. But, this is American politics, I guess. It's what one has to go through and do and such in order to get elected, I suppose. You have to excuse me, sink to the lowly depths that Rubio is now sinking. Now, don't get me wrong. If Rubio ended up being the nominee of the Republican Party for the presidency, I would fully and wholeheartedly back him. But I got to tell you, at this particular juncture, I am so disappointed and disgusted with Marco Rubio, the senator from Florida. It is beyond belief. I mean, when I saw him last night on the news, trying to call out Donald Trump as being a racist and a bigot for not disavowing David Duke and the KKK, I lost any respect I had for the man. I did. Because Republicans are supposed to be better than that. Because he completely and fully knows and understands that Donald Trump has numerous times in the past disavowed anything that the KKK believes in, that David Duke or any of his friends believe in. And yet, at the same time, we see that the lamestream media keeps pressing Donald Trump about this, but none of them are pressing Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton on their friendship with Robert Byrd, a grand clackle, whatever they call it, of the KKK, a high-ranking level member of the KKK. a high-level recruiting member of the KKK. And yeah, you got Bill Clinton at giving the eulogy at Byrd's funeral. He had to join the KKK. He had to join that Ku Klux Klan group because that's the only way he could get elected in order to get things done that he wanted to get done. He had to go along to get along. I'm telling you, after that, he spent the rest of his days apologizing. I don't remember Robert Byrd ever apologizing for being a Grand Kleekle Clackle Ku Klux Klan chicken clack. Ever. But you got Bill Clinton and Hillary out there standing by him at his funeral saying, he tried. Yeah, he didn't really believe in that stuff. He just had to join it in order to get through. So, fine. If he was only a member, a participating member, I might be able to buy Bill Clinton's explanation. But the man rose through the ranks, which means in order for you to rise through the ranks of the KKK, what does it mean? It means you've got to do some pretty nasty and dastardly stuff. We know that's true. You don't get to be in a leadership role of the KKK by being a nice guy. You get there by proving to others that you deserve the leadership because you do some pretty horrific stuff. And by the simple fact that Robert Byrd was a high-level recruiting, ranking member of a local KKK chapter means that he evidently did some pretty nasty stuff. And there you have Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton standing by him saying, oh, yeah, he was a great guy. Yeah, he was wonderful. I love Robert Byrd. He's going to be missed. But Bill and Hillary do not have to disavow the KKK at all. And the Republicans are not asking or demanding that Hillary or Bill renounce the KKK. But you got Rubio, who will stand up there on national TV being interviewed and accuse Donald Trump of something he knows is not true. In other words, lying through his teeth just so he can get elected. And I personally am not down with that. Frankly, I really liked Rubio. I did. And I will tell you, he's a better choice than the far greater liar and thief and criminal Hillary Clinton. But I've lost so much respect for Rubio over this whole ordeal. I mean, he has just pulled some stuff and some stunts that I'm standing with my jaw agape sometimes, thinking, who the hell? I don't know. Somebody else took over Rubio. Another doppelganger. I don't know what the hell is going on in American politics today, but you've got people left and right dropping, being who they used to be, and all of a sudden being somebody else that you do not recognize. I mean, people are losing their freaking minds this election. I have no idea what's going on. I am just looking. Sometimes I wish I was not an American, because I wouldn't have to go through this painful process of watching my country self-destruct. It's very painful. It is excruciating to see this nation turning into what it is turning into. It is extremely painful. It's just one of those things that people just, I guess they just do not understand fully. Or maybe they do understand it. I don't know. And maybe other people recognize this. I can't be the only one who sees this and recognizes this. I can't be. It's just not. It's not possible. Because a lot of this stuff is so blatant. It's not. I mean, it's not. They're not even trying to hide it anymore. It really is just that bad. You got a former Romney advisor, Stuart Stevens. Again, I don't know where these people's heads are. It doesn't make any sense. This is from Newsmax. Former Romney advisor Stuart Stevens says Hillary would be a better president than Donald. Come again? You know, it makes me, when I, literally, when I saw this headline.
You want to know what time it is? It's time to bring the rain.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
A number of different things that that don't make any sense for people right now, and I got to tell you, it is a little discombobulating. I know it is a little discombobulating for people to understand it, but let me help you figure that out, and as well as you can help me figure it out. 603-835-3224 is the call-in number, and we'll be happy to take your calls. So on this special 1-hour program here of the Rod Eccles Show, coming to you live once again from the bunkerized studio somewhere in the great Granite State of New Hampshire. Thank you for being here. Thank all the stations that are able to jip in progress all of their programming, their regular scheduled programming. If there's somebody on that you would like, that you normally listen to at this particular point in time, I would like to say that I'm sorry that I've taken over an hour from them, but I'm really not, because this is really important. And I think it's time that we get down the brass tacks. And I've been taking people to task for a number of different reasons and a number of different things when it pertains to any of the candidates. It could be Donald Trump, Ted Cruz, Marco Rubio, although if you listen to the program, you know I am rather upset with Mr. Rubio. Not at all happy with him at all. But let's take a quick call here. First caller of the night, 517. You're live on the Rod Eccles Show. Go.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. Let me guess. You voted for Trump.
I absolutely. How'd you know?
What state are you in?
I'm in Michigan. I haven't voted yet, but it's a done deal as far as I'm concerned.
No, okay. Now, Michigan isn't having when is Michigan's primary?
Michigan's on the 8th.
On the 8th, okay. And
yeah,
now
so
Michigan's got some. One of the things that they are talking about with Michigan is if Trump is the nominee on the Republican ticket, then there are some states that were traditionally going towards, the past few elections traditionally go to Democrats that would be in play again. Michigan is one of those states. Michigan, a New York state would be in play. And from the looks of things, it looks like the state of Massachusetts could be in play. When you're listening to these reports of 20,000, at least 20,000 Democrats changing sides or leaving the Democrat Party and joining the Republican Party or becoming independent so they can vote in the Republican primary and vote for Trump. Are you seeing that happen in Michigan?
Well, when I first when Trump first ran, a lot of people were a little cautious, and then he came to our state early, Birch Run, and then in Grand Rapids. And he's talked about our state on a regular basis as far as the economic hellhole we've become, and the fact that we've been run by Democrats for so long. I mean, the situation in Flint and, of course, Detroit, I think a lot of people have had their fill of Democrats. We've been a Democratic state for a long time, so it's back to Reagan. The last time we were a Republican state, but I just feel that the tide has turned. When you talk to people, they hear you talking about Trump, they perk up a little bit and they become a little more interested in what you're having to say. And and I've had people say, "Oh, I'm afraid he's going to take us to war" and all that. And we say he's a builder, not a destroyer. I mean, why would he want to blow up things when he only wants to build things? So after you get a talking to them for a while, you find that they're just tied to the rhetoric that they hear on the news and from Rush and, of course, Glenn Beck, constant tearing them down and putting that panic in. But they did the same thing with Reagan when he was running. They treated them both the same way. So I have confidence that Trump will take the state of Michigan.
Now, he's already projected to win Georgia as well as Clinton. Clinton is also projected to win Virginia, but Sanders, no surprise, is projected to win Vermont. But and there looks like they may be projecting Cruz in Texas, but Florida is a little bit surprising for some.
Yeah, but Rubio has done nothing for Florida. He's not been there to vote for him in the Senate, and he's not done anything to help the state, and he's backtracked on everything he ran for when he ran out of the Tea Party. So I can see why Florida is not happy with Rubio.
Now, did you vote in the last presidential election?
Yeah, I voted in every one, and strangely enough, this was going to be the one I wasn't going to vote in because at the beginning, of course, it was going to be, it's going to be Clinton, Bush, and Clinton and Bush, and Bush and Clinton. I mean, it was just constantly shoving that down our throats. And that was back in 2014. And when Trump came out in June, June 16th, he said everything different. I mean, the table was reset. And at that point in time, I said, okay, I could vote for this guy. And I've followed Trump long before The Apprentice. I've been in real estate and in the business world for my whole life, and so I've always had an interest in New York and not the politics there, but the building there. And so I was aware of Trump a long time ago, and he's always struck me as a go-doer. He says something and he's going to go out and do it.
Okay, so you're definitely on the Trump train, and you believe that Trump is definitely your man that's going to get the job done as president. Now, what do you think about all these polls, and all except for one major poll really has, and frankly, I got to tell you, I don't understand it. I don't understand how these numbers work, but Trump is the only major candidate that can't seem in these polls to beat Clinton. Clinton is not even getting the type of votes that Trump is getting. Clinton is not even getting the types of votes in the Democratic primaries that the other, that Cruz and Rubio are getting. So how is it that
Trump is?
Do you think they could be projecting Trump to be losing against Hillary?
Trump hasn't even gone after Hillary yet, and a lot of people are still. Our party is more split. We have 5 people running; they have 2. And, we're going to lose some of the hardcore, I'm a Rubio or I'm a Cruz person, I'll never vote for Trump. But then the rest of them are all going to sit there and say, well, I'm sure not going to vote for Clinton, or I don't want her in. So I think eventually they'll all get on the same train as I am. But I think the difference is if you remember back when Hillary called Trump a sexist, and he went after him one weekend, she dropped in the polls. Sanders shot up, and Sanders should thank Trump for that, because that was the difference. And he spent one weekend on it. And all he did was brought up the fact of, not the fact that Bill had the affairs, but how Hillary was covering up for it and intimidating the victims of Bill's. And that, and then the emails, Sanders saying, well, I don't want to talk about the emails. Trump's not going to say that. He's going to talk about the emails every single day. And Benghazi, Clinton's got so much, it's a smorgasbord of scandals as far as the Clinton goes. He can pick a different item every day and have something to pick from.
Well, now Trump may have his own legal problems, as that lawsuit and fraud charges against the former Trump University has been given the green light to proceed. Do you think that's going to slow him down or stop him at all? Do you think that Clinton is going to be using that against him?
Again, I've been in a business and in the building aspect of things all my life, and there's always, you got to have another thing going, and a lot of things are hit and miss. He wasn't necessarily in charge of the university. He did get his name. He is responsible for what happened. But I've been to those seminars before, and for anybody to blindly go down there or say they've suffered as much as that, sour grapes. They did not do their end of the deal because, especially in the 90s, real estate was booming. So I think, some of it has to be on their own. Easy escape to go after Trump as far as that goes. And there's not a lot of people to begin with, compared to how many were. And if you go back and look at the press that New York has had against Trump, he's been vetted for the last 30 years. Every day he was in the paper about his affairs, about his business dealings. And so they haven't been able to destroy him or take him down for the last 30 years. And I think, man, that guy is 70. He still runs circles around people. I think some of them have to do something extra just to keep up with him. But I don't know. I don't think those individual things. He might lose a couple, but I think he's gaining Democrats. He's gaining people. He's a uniter. He's not a divider. And I've had enough division. When you look at the Democrats, that's all they talk about is division, division, division. And even Rubio and Cruz, conservative this or conservative that. You aren't a conservative. You're not a true conservative. Divisions. We have problems in this country, and Trump is the only one that talks about how together we can do it. Who else has stood with the Carrier Group? Nobody. I haven't heard any other candidate talk about the Carrier Group. And it goes, the list goes on. I just think the people are going to, and look how many people aren't even interested. in politics yet. They won't vote until November. Oh, you guys figure it out. I'll vote for whoever's left over. I just think that we're going to have a massive landslide similar to Reagan.
Well, I know a lot of people are hoping for that, and they're really trying to get people out who haven't voted before it. And I know that a lot of people are coming out of the woodwork who haven't voted before or voted in a very long period of time, and they're now coming out to caucus or primary, and they're giving the credit to Trump for drawing these people out. So that's probably a good thing. Historically speaking, in the past century or so, if the voter turnout is high, it favors Republicans. If the voter turnout is low, that always favors Democrats. Don't know why that is, but that's the way it's been the majority of the elections the past 100 years.
Because I personally think it's because those Democrats that were low all moved over to the Republican side and voted over there. They want prosperity. They want jobs. They don't want to be afraid to walk down the streets because there's tension amongst the people. They don't want any of that. So when they find a uniter, you can go back to, I guess you got to go back to Reagan. He's been the most recent uniter that we've had ever since that. It's Bush this, Clinton that, Bush this, Clinton that. And both the Democrats and Republicans have done everything they can to keep us at each other's throats. And I don't see that with Trump. I really don't. But I definitely see it with everybody else.
Well, I guess we will soon find out as the polls begin to close how well Donald Trump did this day, and it's just going to look. I know he's going to have done well. It's just now we have to see exactly how many states that he wins, because there's no doubt that he will win some states. And the big question is, will Rubio actually be able to win one state, just one? Because he hasn't won anything yet. So.
No, but he does have a good second-place speech.
Yeah, yes, he does. Well, my friend, thank you very much for your call, and hopefully we can get. I think somebody else just dropped off, but anyway, thank you so much for the call. I appreciate it.
Well, you're welcome, man. Thank you. I love your show.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.
It is. Well, I don't know. It's. People are just in love with Trump. I can't. This is not something that is usual for Republicans. I'm not being facetious here. This is almost cult-like. I mean, the last time, even Ronald Reagan did. Well, I guess it's a little bit different story with Reagan because there wasn't the internet back in Reagan's day. But the lamestream media pretty much dominated the news cycle. But I got to tell you, it seems like, even Reagan wasn't preliminarily loved like this. I mean, Trump this is an enigma. This is not something that's, what this is like? Trump, how can I put this without people thinking that it's an insult? Because this is not an insult. I want people to understand this is the Trump train right now. If you want to say it looks like anything that you've ever seen before, obviously it looks like the first run of Obama, 2008. Now there are some major differences, but there are a lot of similarities. One, Obama got out people to vote that hadn't voted before or hadn't voted in a long time, and this is what Trump is doing. Obama had a very simple and simplistic slogan, hope and change. Trump has got a very simplistic and easily to understand slogan, make America great again. It's very easy to understand both of those slogans, hope and change. Change, let's bring back some hope and make some changes. Let's make America great again. They're both very simple, very elegant, very easy to understand. So there you've got some similarities. Yeah, I know some people are saying, oh, you can't make that comparison, Rod. How could you dare make that comparison that Trump is like Obama? That ain't right. That ain't right at all. You comparing those two. Well, there is some similarities. And you can't deny that both of them do share these similarities that I just mentioned. Some people thought that maybe Bernie Sanders was going to be the new Barack Obama, but unfortunately Bernie isn't really winning too much. Although he did win, evidently he won Vermont, and we're trying to see what the exact numbers were for Bernie in Vermont. But evidently, well, it was expected. It was expected for Bernie to win Vermont. But although, you would think that normally you would win your own state, but got to tell you, there are a couple of people in this primary season right now that it looks like they have a very good shot of losing their home state, and that's both Kasich and Rubio. Isn't Carson from Florida too now? Where is Carson from? I know we're not hearing a lot about Carson. The Good Doctor is... the problem with the Good Doctor is that he was too quiet. There's something to be said about the strong silent type, but not in politics. He was too quiet. Very quiet. By the way, for those of you who might be listening in for the first time because you've never heard the Rod Eccles Show, understand that the Rod Eccles Show is all about politics, current events, and pop culture. We don't talk about politics 100% of the time. And frankly, since I'm not a news organization, it's not, and I hate watching news channels anyway during this stuff because they talk about the same thing over and over and over and over again with no new news about anything. So I'm not going to be able to give you a breakdown and cut over to, correspondents that are located at every single headquarters of those involved. But I can give you the breakdown as I get them. But one of the things that we do run across on the Rod Eccles Show during the day, during the mornings, is pop culture and current events. And if you listen to the show during the day, you'll know that I have talked about a couple of times by the strange cycle and the strange number of celebrities that since January 1st of this year have dropped dead. I mean, they're dropping like flies. We missed one back in mid-February. If you remember the Eddie Murphy Beverly Hills Cop movies, the 3 Beverly Hills Cop movies. Well, if you remember, Eddie Murphy came out of Detroit. And he was a cop in Detroit in the movies. Axel Foley. Now, if you remember, Axel Foley had a boss, his lieutenant. Yes, well, that lieutenant actually happened to be a real Detroit cop, by the way. By the name of Gil Harris. And Gilbert Harris is Gil Harris. He was a real cop in Detroit, and he eventually went on to be elected as a city councilman in the city of Detroit, and he ran back in 2001 for mayor of the city of Detroit, but was defeated by Kwame Kilpatrick. Yes, that Kwame Kilpatrick that was later quite quickly into his reign, as it were, was found guilty of fraud and other types of debauchery and sent to jail. So the city would have been better off with Gil Harris, but they didn't vote for him. But he became a city councilman instead. He passed away. Axel Foley's boss on Beverly Hills Cop passed away in mid-February at the age of 84. He was 84 years old. But missed that one. But today, we learned that yesterday, a rather young man has passed away. Former American gladiator, the gladiator star Lee Reherman, Reherman. I think that's how you pronounce his name. Reherman. Reherman. He died at the age of 49 yesterday, suddenly. And people that know him said that, he was the epitome of good health. And by the way, the cause of death has not yet been revealed. But one of his longtime friends and his representative, Anthony Turk, said that Reherman underwent hip surgery about 2 months ago and had not been feeling well for the past few days. And yesterday he went. This is I don't know how many that makes this year. How many stars? How many celebrities? At all levels, but how many celebrities that is, I do not know. It's unbelievable and unfathomable, especially with some of these, people that are supposed to be of repute are reputed for grand health, as it were. But I didn't really watch American Gladiators. I know some people who did. I didn't really get into it. I know that there was the female star was one of them. I forget her name. Haven't seen much of any of them lately, but no, we know that they were obviously there, and yes, they are considered to be celebrities. You may not know who they are if you see them, but they are celebrities nonetheless, and they're gonna be missed by some fans, of course. I don't know them, so I can't say I'm gonna miss them, but it's too bad because it's such a young at 49. It's still pretty young. We have more. It looks like more stuff is coming in. They're still saying that only Trump, Clinton, and Sanders are getting wins. There are no other wins being reported, except for possibly it looks like Cruz is going to walk away with Texas, but that was highly anticipated and expected anyway. But they're not calling anything else for winners, that is. By the way, have you heard the news? This is not bode well for New Jersey Governor Chris Christie. The main New Hampshire newspaper, the Manchester Union Leader, has apologized for endorsing Chris Christie for president, while 7 New Jersey newspapers call on Christie to resign. Now, this is quite interesting. Are they mad because he did so poorly in the primaries? Running for president? 7 New Jersey newspapers issued a joint editorial Tuesday calling on Governor Chris Christie to resign in the wake of his failed presidential campaign and his subsequent endorsement of rival Donald Trump. Well, there you have it. See, it's because you lost, Christie. You got a bunch of papers now saying, well, since you lost, then you can't be governor anymore. And since you because you endorsed Donald Trump, oh, you can't be governor anymore. That's just not right. The 7 newspapers, including the Ashbury Park Press, the Cherry Hill Courier Post, and the Morristown Daily Record, all Gannett-owned papers that are part of the USA Today network. And we know USA Today is, it's a liberal rag mag, definitely not conservative. And they were apparently spurred to editorial outrage by a Monday press conference in which Christie refused to answer questions about anything other than his nomination of a state Supreme Court judge. Asked why Christie replied, because I don't want to. Ooh, bad answer, Chris. Governor Christie, bad. Can I ask what your parents were thinking, by the way, naming you Chris? I'm assuming it's Christopher Christie. That's not right. Not right to do that. But I've talked about that before as well. But we will have to take a short break, but we'll be back to finish out this special edition. and we'll get some more information. Hopefully we'll get some more numbers coming in, and we'll discuss those numbers as they come in. Don't forget to call 603-835-3224. We'll be right back.
You're listening to me, your lovable host, L. Rod, here on the Rod Eccles Show.
Your credit score is a joke, and you're too embarrassed to let anyone know your 3-digit score. Sucks to be you, but it doesn't have to. Delete all those unsightly derogatory items, collections, charge-offs, repossessions, judgments, tax liens, bankruptcies, and foreclosures. To turbo boost your credit scores, call 888-541-5571 or visit us at 700creditnow.com. You've heard the old adage, cash is king. But in some cases, credit can be just as powerful as cash. Not many people have $200,000 to put down on a house, or $50,000 to put down on a car, or $25,000 to put down in a business. But look around and you'll find that millions of Americans do have homes and cars all purchased with little to no money down. To turbo boost your credit scores, call 888-541-5571. Again, that's 888-541-5571. Or visit us at www.700creditnow.com.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. Then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-616-8010. That's 1-800-616-8010. Again, 1-800-616-8010. Call now.
Did you ever look at the stains in your coffee cup and then realize that's exactly what happens to your teeth? Power Swabs is the 5-minute solution to get your teeth white without visiting the dentist. This is Ben Gordon with Power Swabs, and if your teeth are stained from coffee, tea, or smoking, all it takes is 5 minutes with Power Swabs. In 5 minutes, you'll see an average of 2 shades whiter teeth, and in 7 days, 6 shades. It's clinically proven to whiten natural teeth as well as caps and veneers. The secret is a tooth detergent that was developed by Dr. Martin Ginniger that lifts stains off of your teeth. Best of all, there's no messy strips or trays that you have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth for 5 minutes and you're done. To try Power Swabs risk-free, call 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140. I guarantee your bright white smile will have your friends talking about how great you look. Try it risk-free today. 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
When you're ready to take the edge off a hectic day, I suggest you start with a little music from Franz Black.
I guess there's lots of ways to look at things that don't seem right.
No Worries has just been released on iTunes and Amazon.
It's gonna be alright.
You can find Franz Black and his music on his website, friendsblack.com. Franz black.com.
It's gonna be alright.
somewhere within the great Granite State of New Hampshire. Again, the phone number for this special edition is 603-835-3. Trump and Clinton. In Tennessee, it looks to be Trump and Clinton. In Texas, it appears to be Cruz. Frank, well, I think Frank Underwood is a murderer. He actually killed somebody. And he actually called he also called in an order to actually kill basically somebody else. So Frank's got two blood in his hands for two people. Pretty much. There were a lot of voters that had not made up their minds yet, but you were turning them off. And now that we see, and I believe that number is actually higher. It's higher than 20%, but CNN is reporting that 20% of Republicans say they made up their minds in the last few days. And this is according to exit polling data. States They hate Donald Trump so much that they hate him more than they love this country. Do you get that part? I don't get it. Now, I'm not saying that I'm in support of Trump and that I'm going to vote for him in any my primaries are over. So I'm not saying I'm not going to endorse anybody. But I got to tell you, this whole notion that these people are putting forth, now we got Paul Ryan out there starting to attack Donald Trump. Let me tell you something. The reason why Donald Trump is getting traction and getting the support of the people, you forget this is the people's race. This is the people's government, and they're deciding who they want to represent them. Because you people over in the Republican Party, you constantly ignore the Republican, the old Republican Guard, the standbys, the regular Republicans. You ignore them, the Republican voter. You're telling them that it doesn't really matter who you want for president or who you want for this particular position. What the Republicans are telling these wonderful people, hardworking people, is that we're going to pick the leaders for you. And that's how we run into trouble. You can't win with that kind of attitude. And so you've got to ask yourself, do you love this country more than you love... do you love this country more than you hate Donald Trump? Parts to say their candidates' attacks were unfair. Democratic voters largely decided that Sanders was not too liberal for them, nor was Clinton not liberal enough. And I don't know how you can not be too liberal. I mean, that's asinine to come across that way. And this is all from CNN. So whatever you're getting out of this from CNN, take with a grain of salt, basically. I know I do. I don't always come across as paying attention to what the pundits are saying. There is a poll question over on Yahoo. Should Bernie Sanders stay in the race until the convention, even if he concludes he can't win a Democratic nomination? There is answer. Vermont, where Trump has about 34%, with Kasich about 29%. So again, That would be most likely Kasich. So of course they're going to go for that kind of stuff. You know who I kind of wish I had right now that help us put this all into perspective is Diamond and Silk, the Trump girls, the Trump ladies. That would be kind of nice. Here this evening. Bye. I know millennials like Snapchat. I'm not all that into it. Sorry. We will be adding some stuff over Facebook. Heading to speak over the past year. So we'll get those up and running over on Facebook as well. And it'll just be a way for all of us to be able to engage one another and learn more about the individual states. You'll be able to look at it as sort of like present it in the fashion so somebody who hasn't been to your state before would be enticed to come and take a visit. So that type of thing. So hopefully we'll get lots of pictures from different places to have those. But rodeccles.net. And, of course, it'll have links to listen to this program live Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to noon. As I said, you're going to want to be here tomorrow morning for some other news as it pertains to the program. And I do thank you, everybody, for tuning in this evening. So Donald Trump is being projected now as sweeping the South pretty much and Massachusetts. And this is coming from townhall.com. This does not bode well for the Republican wing. This does not bode well for Marco Rubio. It just doesn't bode well at all. I mean, this is now at a point where this is not just a train, a steam engine. This is a juggernaut. And for those of you who don't know what a juggernaut is something that is unstoppable. There was a Marvel Comics villain called Juggernaut. And no matter what you did to him, basically, short of a nuclear blast, you could not stop this guy. Spider-Man tried, Thor even tried a couple of times. He was nearly unstoppable. Well, I mean, when he got going, that was it. If you could now this is kind of like a rhino. Let me put it in perspective. Rhinos are very difficult to stop once they're in motion. If a rhino's going to come charging at you, you better get yourself in a tank or something, because there isn't much on this planet that can stop a rhino in its tracks without killing it, of course. And so if that's the case, and now you've got Trump who is on the march right now. He's on the juggernaut march. Look, we're looking at history in the making. This is, I don't want people to think that this is a Trump fest, because it's not. I'm just reporting to you what is going on out there. And it looks like this is going to be a Clinton, Trump, Bloomberg matchup. Bloomberg is really mulling around getting into the race as an independent. Well, I don't think Bloomberg is really going to have much of a choice if his choice is to try to collaborate with people that he's collaborated with in the past to continue his agenda, anti-guns and things like that, and too much anti-salt and anti-fat and anti-soft drink and all that kind of stuff. But he can't do that with Trump. He knows that. So it's going to have to be, if Bloomberg doesn't think that Hillary can win it on her own, he's just going to have to jump in the race. But we also, talked about it this morning on the live program about Mitt Romney maybe getting in and screwing things up and causing another loss. And I'm just thinking, how is it possible that they would want to do that and cause Trump to lose? And the whole point is that you have these people that seem to hate Trump more than they love this country. I just can't buy into that kind of stuff. That is just wrong. Just wrong. So by the time you wake up tomorrow, what you'll probably have is not the 7 New Jersey newspapers. What you'll probably have is a Trump. I don't have any other information about this stuff, but I'm going to say that Rubio is going to be snuffed out this time around. He's not going to win anything. And I'm going to predict that Trump is going to bring in Alabama, Alaska, Arkansas, Georgia, Massachusetts, Oklahoma, Tennessee. No, Cruz will take Oklahoma. Tennessee, Vermont, and Virginia will also go Trump. Cruz will probably take Texas, Oklahoma, and Colorado. I don't know what they're going to do in Alaska. To tell you the truth, if they're going to lean with Sarah Palin, and Sarah Palin is still pretty popular up in Alaska, and she's endorsed Trump, I'm going to say that they're going to lean towards Trump. But as far as Clinton is concerned, I think Clinton is going to take just about everything except Vermont. And, maybe Sanders will pull out Texas and Minnesota, although I can't. Well, I guess I can see him taking Texas, but we will have to definitely wait and see when we get more of the numbers coming in. And if you obviously you're going to want to be here tomorrow morning to get all the full details on what's happened overnight. So Trump again is projected to win the Virginia Republican primary. Trump, by Fox News, is projected to win Alabama, Arkansas, Georgia, Massachusetts, Tennessee, Vermont, and Virginia. Cruz is projected to win Oklahoma and Texas, with the possibility of Colorado. We don't know anything about Texas yet. And Clinton is projected to win Alabama, Arkansas, Georgia, Massachusetts, Tennessee, Texas, and Virginia, with Sanders getting the lesser of two evils, I guess. Is going to get Vermont and Oklahoma. Good for Bernie, getting Oklahoma. Oklahoma. Got to add a little bit of fun in there. Other than that, folks, we're going to be signing off really shortly here. But if you still have a little bit of time to call in and express your opinion about the election results tonight. 603-835-3224. Rubio, basically, he campaigned all day Sunday in Virginia and is holding 4 rallies in different parts of the states. But it doesn't look like those rallies are helping him out at all in that particular state in Virginia. With 88% of the precincts currently reporting, Fox is projecting Trump as the winner. Well, hey, it is what it is. We could, and we'll get more of those numbers as they roll in tomorrow. We'll get all the numbers as they roll in. But it looks like Cruz is going to a rather comfortable win in Texas with about 40% of the vote, and Trump with about 28% of the vote, and Rubio back at about 19% of the vote. So, and this is with about 32% of the precincts in. But Rubio is finishing a close second in Virginia as we speak. And got to tell you, Rubio's do or die moment is going to come in Florida, where Trump seems to be way ahead in Florida. Cruz is going to stay alive because he's going to win Texas. Now, it's to remain to be seen if Kasich stays in and changes his tactics to a survival mode where he doesn't have to go out and do much, so that nobody can actually attack Ohio at all, and leaving it for him. For him. Kasich, of course. In any event, that was a fast hour program. Don't forget that we will be back here tomorrow morning, Wednesday morning at 9 a.m. sharp. We'll go over all of the details of Super Tuesday. Plus, we'll get your take on things as well, of what you think and what you saw and what you heard about the program. Plus, all the other wonderful stuff that we normally talk about during the course of tomorrow's 3-hour program on Hump Day. Until then, I want to thank you very much for joining me for this special 1-hour late-night edition of The Rod Eccles Show. I am your lovable host, L. Rod. Have a wonderful evening. See you in the morning. I'm out.
Give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. Sign him up for the Box of Bait Club and he'll never be hungry again. The Box of Bait Club is a brand new dream come true for every fisherman. Something new and different in your tackle box every month. Every month, another excuse to get outside and do what you love. Don't let this one get away. The Box of Bait Club is currently accepting a limited number of pre-orders with subscriptions starting at $39.95 per month. Find out more now. Log on to boxofbaitclub.com.
I'm just so happy my father had a chance to see his kids.